Who knows? Welcome to... It's not Underdog Theology. It's just a stream, but I guess that's how things are going to be from now on. Welcome. How are you guys doing? I hope you're doing super well. I'm realizing I left my other lights on. I got a new setup, a little slightly new. You know, we've pretty much filmed in every single square inch of this room. So we've moved from over there to over there, back to over there, back to over there, then over there, and now we're over in this corner, which it might all look the same to you, but they're all different corners. So, we're trying out something else, trying to have some fun. I hope that you can hear me. I don't even have my headphones in. The audio levels look like they should be good. What happened to me? You know, I used to be able to start streaming and like do it just fine. And, I'd make fun of the guys who were like, always talking about like, let me know if you can hear me. Is there anybody out there? I used to make fun of those guys. And now I am that guy because I've had enough tech problems that make me nervous every time. My wife just texted me. I'm so glad I'll be coming home to AC because frick, it's hot and muggy today. That's how you know. That's how you know we're going to do a stream. Well, you wouldn't know, but I do. Is if my wife is closing and things are not going crazy at home, then I'll probably like let the kids camp out in the living room and come down here and do a stream. I was planning on going outside, but the weather kind of changed and got a lot of mosquitoes out there. I was like getting some things set up and it was just like, no, I'm not going to do that. So we're inside, we're hanging out, but I think it's okay because we got everybody hanging out with me. Gonna do that. I took a minute. We're inside. Is there no audio? Like, I don't know why there wouldn't be. Oh, guys. What is that about? Do I not have audio? There was too much audio. Yes, we are saved. Got it now. Ain't heard a thing, bro. What the frick is that? See, this is the thing. This is why OBS is hard. Lots of good audio now, but why would it be like that? Like I've got an audio mixer thing coming in for chat full screen, which I don't know why it should even have that. Doesn't look like I could just delete it though. But if I don't know why if I click this have that. Is there something audio playing? Oh, this is me. Okay. What a bummer. Okay. Now I see what happened. That's so lame. Oh, well, that was frustrating for you guys. You guys still stuck around for that? What the frick? What is wrong with you guys? Like, that was a long time. So that would have been happening ever since I hit the chat full screen. That you guys have been experiencing that. And I'm just like up here messing around at the very top. Oh my goodness. What a rookie move. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't do any more streaming. Guys, I want to use this OBS because it's free and it allows you to do some cool things once I figure crap out, but that's stupid. All right. You guys did a lot. There was a lot in the chat. All right. You guys probably were roasting me. It must have been 2,000 voices at once. I felt a disturbance as if millions of voices crying out and then immediately silenced. We heard nothing. It was a sound of hell, Dean, but it's all good now. Oh, what was the last thing you even heard me talk about? What a frustrating thing. I don't even know where to go now. What did we talk about? Lots of good audio now. All right. Let's just have fun looking at what you guys were talking about. Dean, your audio is broken. Dean has a lot to say to himself. Luke, that's so funny. Also, the focal point with Luke Daly. No one heard any of my other jokes. I'm realizing, oh, dang, I worked hard on some of those. I never work hard on anything anymore. Okay, I take it back. The Ken Ham impression is not the worst thing he's subjected. Oh, man. That's just, I'm both embarrassed and it's hilarious. Dean, I'm scared. How long will it take for him to notice? Probably 15 minutes. Watch his face to see when he realizes it. LOL. Oh, you guys are awesome for sticking with me. Where are Jeremy and John Adams when you need them? Yeah, they could have texted me. But Michael S. could have messaged me, or I messaged Mike. Oh. Aaron Goings is like, dude, check the chat. Oh, you guys are like messaging me like this is, oh, it's so funny. It's so funny to me. Dean, stop talking. Oh man. Scroll, baby, scroll. Okay, I kind of like it now. We're up to 27 live viewers when that was going on. Oh, it's so messed up. We haven't heard anything for the last 15 minutes, dude. That's so sad. Good now, my dude. Start over. Audio kept looping. Now it's good. Crazy. All right. There were a million Deans. Bummer for you. We heard nothing. Must have. What was that? What was that one? It just jumped. Dude, we had audio this whole time, but there was lots and lots of Deans, and the chat is hilarious tonight. Well, I'm glad that we have the chat, because I don't know why else you guys would still be here. All right. Anything else really funny? Dean, it was almost as entertaining as the Metallica concert last night, Dylan says. Okay. I was saying that's freaking awesome that you guys went to the Metallica concert. I did say that. And I was talking about how Pam's stuff is really cool, her poetry. And then I was talking about how I've written a little bit of poetry, but I will never release it to the world because, sometimes I'm like a Pacific Northwest kid that like looks out a window when it's raining and gets real angsty and writes some things down. But it's like a dead man switch. That was a good joke that I had that you guys didn't. It's not working now. But I said I had a dead man switch on my poetry. So no one will ever see it until I die. But Metallica would be pretty cool. I don't really like Metallica, but it's a concert, and concerts are really fun. It looked like you had a great time, and I said happy anniversary, but I probably said it a million times. So a million times happy anniversary. Dean, you get what you pay for. It's free. That's true. It's true. It is free. The millions of voices didn't immediately silence. Yeah, that's true. Like you wish it would. No clue what you were talking about. Heard absolutely nothing. We watched you laugh at yourself. It brought us all together. We heard a lot, but nothing you said. Need a director, producer? I mean, that would be nice, but who wants to do that? We were trying to read your lips. Are you guys that desperate for entertainment? You're like, what is he saying? Metallica. Metallica? Thanks for reading, Dean. Oh boy, Metallica, I missed mosh pits. Pretty cool. Now I don't know if I like talking, Dean. I missed the audio hellscape. We can go back to that, apparently. Here we go. Are you ready? Oh, wait. No, it's not even doing it anymore because it was another tab that I had open. Guys, remember when my streams were good? Remember those days? There were like 3 times. There was 3 solid streams, okay? And now Now it's all gone. So I wonder if there's anybody who's like, I miss the old days. I miss it. I miss the eCam days. You guys don't even know about that stuff. Nah, but that was a cool community moment. Okay. I thought I read you say Uncle Doug. Why would you do that? Why would you even bring that up? What are you trying to do to me? I'll tell you what. No, I can't because I don't have anything. I don't have any sound effects in here. Okay. We all bonded now. That's great. We're all closer because of shared trauma. Oh, Sam, that's hilarious. Okay, that's a really good way to put it. All right. So what else did I say? Oh, did you guys hear me talk about how I'm super famous on Twitters? Did I start talking about that before I hit this thing? You guys probably didn't get a whole lot. I think I went to it right off the bat, right? I don't even remember. It was a long time ago. It was like 15 minutes ago. It was before the post-apocalypse. Or it was before the apocalypse of my audio. We said we couldn't hear anything. We heard nothing. We got a visitor. What's up, dude?
Good.
You want to come say hi?
Yeah.
This is the microphone. It's over here.
All
right. What did you come down for?
Yeah.
For me?
Yeah.
Do you like me?
Yeah.
Are we friends?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Was watching Hangout too, but it's kind of cool. Like, it's operated.
Okay. You go back to watching Inside Out too. Big Brother is up there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I went really famous on Twitter because I saw red. Because a few things make me angry. Like I'm a pretty laid back guy, you know? Like people would be surprised. Like people who watch my content and go like, he's always upset about something. I don't get mad about a lot of things. But there's one thing that I always get mad about, and that is how people talk and treat people with disabilities, people who are neurodivergent, all that kind of stuff. And so I saw some people, Christian nationalists, the Right Response Ministries, followers, kinds of things, because, on Twitter, I use it kind of as a research tool. This seems so weird to be saying the same things over again, by the way, as if I rehearsed it or something. I kind of did. But that's how I exist on Twitter. So I see stuff. And, I saw some stuff about Tim Walz' son and people making fun of Tim Walz' son and being like just complete jerks using the R word. Like some people were like coming at me on Twitter and being like, nobody did this. Well, I saw stuff and it was pretty bad. I didn't take screenshots though. And honestly, like if you don't see that stuff, it's an algorithm. It's an algorithm. So everyone's going to have a different Twitter. You're not going to have like a front page of Twitter where everybody sees the same thing. And so some people were going at Tim Walz' son because he got emotional, watching his dad, which is a weird thing to do anyways. He loves his dad. How dare he, but I think it was probably like the fact that he kind of had some liquids going on his face, like he was like really, really emotional. And people don't like to see a man be like that. And so they immediately start making fun of him. And then, come to find out, he's got some neurodivergency, some different things going on than the typical person. And so, I saw some people in those circles of like the Christian nationalist world. So to be specific, it would be Christian nationalists who did it. But they were like calling him the R word and sharing stuff about him. And it's just, I kind of saw red because my son is autistic. And, I hear this a lot from the same people who are like, you shouldn't go see like a psychologist. that kids, they don't need drugs. They just need a Bible, not those kind of drugs, like, different things to help them cope and to exist in this world. So, it's that kind of people, like those kinds of people, those circles. And they say stuff like, oh, but, like we would be so welcoming to people who, actually need help, or, that actually have something wrong with them, and, like all that kind of stuff. And so, like, I hear that kind of stuff. And so I just put out a tweet of basically saying, like, okay, Christian making fun of Tim Walz's son. I totally, something to the effect, I don't even remember. I totally would believe you would be welcoming with my autistic son in your church. Like and I didn't say all Christians did it. It was like the reading comprehension of people has gone so far downhill, much like my audio. And so they're, that wasn't funny, but I thought it was funny. But they're just reading it like completely wrong, and a lot of people getting mad at me about it. So like I was joking about how I'm, famous on Twitter. Not. It did get around, like there were like 3,000 likes and 100,000, like not even that. It was like 85,000 like people have viewed it, which for me is like probably the most viral thing that I've put out there on Twitter, and I've existed there for a very long time. And yeah, so that's what I did. And, getting a lot of people being like, how dare you say this about Christians, or this didn't happen, like all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of lame. I'm getting kind of tired of, constantly, like whenever I get any movement on internet stuff, it's always because people are mad at me. Like I'm like a little part of me, it kind of makes me happy. I'll admit it. I am a pot stirrer. Okay. I've learned that about myself. I didn't think I was, but I kind of enjoy it. So some of you guys are like, I know you enjoy it. But, like it's kind of a bummer. I was joking with my wife because she went like my little thing was nothing compared to, she went crazy viral a couple of years ago. A lot of you guys know this. Some of you guys might not though. So I'll say it again because it's literally like, I think it's like the coolest thing. But she went viral for talking about Kevin Bacon, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, and trying to get people to play that. And then the whole world basically played it for a day. And she even had like Kevin Bacon reach out to her. And like I got that printed on a mug. It's sitting upstairs under our TV. Super cool moment. Like they were reading her stuff on Good Morning America. Super cool. And like, what a fun thing to go viral for. And then like my version of viral is like much smaller, but also it's just like much meaner. Like it's just like everyone's like, this guy. And it's like I was telling her, like, why do you get to go viral for something so fun and exciting and like something cool? Like, and I go viral for get him, like just get the pitchforks. So it's just frustrating sometimes. But you know what? I'm the one who put out the tweet. So I got to deal with the consequences, and some of the consequences are the fact that people don't know how to read no more, and they're just kind of meanies. So that's what's going on. I was more of just using that as like a little starting point to talk to you guys and hang out. And that was before the audio apocalypse. Double hair part guy. What? I just shaved my head. Whoa! Some of you guys might not know it. I shaved my head. You know what I'm realizing? My hair got thinner. So that's not good. We're going to put that back here. Like Sarah Palin's son. I don't know anything about Sarah Palin's kid. From the party that's allegedly about Christian family values. Awful. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, there are the Christian nationalists that I saw. I don't know if that's like a big thing. I hear from the Right Response Ministries crowd is that they don't have a racism problem. So, that's right. If it's coming from Joel Webbin himself, it's not racist because he said it's not racist. That's what it is. So, yeah, they don't have any problems over there. Walz's speech was the only one I watched. I thought his son was pretty passionate. Yeah. In the comments about Walls' son, Pam says, we're horrible. And then people gaslighting you in the comments like that didn't help. Well, like that didn't happen. Yeah. And then like there were some people who were like, but they deleted it once they found out. It's like, who would do that? Like, don't do it in the first place. If you got to delete stuff like that and you're just like, but they deleted it. No, it's not cool. And it makes me go I'm saying it kind of in jest in a way, but I kind of mean it still. There are so many churches out there that say that they would be welcoming. And it's not even just about neurodivergent people, just like different kinds of people. And like they say, we'll be welcoming. And like, of course, we want everybody. Jesus died for everyone. And then they're just like, but you can't actually be in the community, like you can't actually belong here. Like you come once and then, if everything doesn't line up the way that we think, or, Lord forbid, your kid is too loud eating his goldfish, hanging out at church. This is true. This has happened. You get the nasty looks. And then once your kid starts standing on the pew because he's stimming and is just like unable to sit still, and they come up and go like, have you thought about taking him to like the child care? Oh yeah, that would work real well for my autistic son that you will have no idea how to handle. Like, no, he's staying with me. He can stand on the freaking pew if he wants. Like, it's just, you're not actually welcoming. You're not actually welcoming. A lot of these people who say that they aren't. And then they kind of prove it with stuff like that and saying stuff. And it's just so see-through that like they say that they want people and then they treat people like garbage. And it's just, I kind of had it. Done with it. What time is it? I do have to give my kid give him some insulin here in a minute. All right, let's see. I might have to put on I think I've got. I might put just I think I know what I could do actually. Oh snap, guys! I think I can do something. I'm gonna do it. I don't know. Let's see. I wanna add a scene. We'll go. Playing? This is playing? Yeah, okay. So it's going to get a little weird for a minute, okay? It's going to get a little weird for a minute because I'm doing something live. All right, but I'm going to go. I'm going to give my kid some insulin. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to hang out with you guys. So throw in some questions into the chat. I know Heidi will probably spearhead a conversation. How many views did Heather's tweet get? Millions, Heidi. It's kind of nuts. It was insane. I guess I don't know off the top of my head how many millions, but it was more than one. It was just nuts and it was so cool. But I'm going to put on something. Caleb. Gonna let something play. It's gonna get a little dark for a minute and then a video will pop up. If you want to mute the video, you're free to do that. Caleb, I'm looking at you. But also, I'll be back in a couple minutes. But it's going to get a little dark, but it's going to be okay. Well, that didn't work. I guess I had deleted some stuff. Here's what we'll do. Here's what we'll do. Oh, I know. This is what we'll do. Okay, just give me a sec. We'll do this. This is all unnecessary because, like, you guys are the only ones here. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna get through this together. You know, we just gotta stick together. It's we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. Don't worry. All right. We just gotta do this, and we gotta do some things. And just what we gotta do. Okay. Don't get mad at me. It's just like we have to do it. Just in case. You never know. Somebody might show up, and they'll be like, "What the heck is going on?" And you know, it's just like we gotta do some stuff. So. Now, what are we doing? We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Be right back. It's okay. Did that even do anything? I'm realizing I don't think that did anything for you guys. What's up? Okay, that was really weird, right? Had some things to figure out there when I was like trying to. I was like, oh, first we'll do this, and then nope, and then I was like, oh, okay, it's going, and then it's like I realized as I was like walking over there, I was like, oh wait, that's just on the monitor, isn't it, and not actually on OBS. It's a lot of buttons. Like this is hardcore. Like you guys kind of saw it there for a bit of like when it like got all warbly, you know, because it's a screen within a screen within a screen. Like that's OBS, and it's not the easiest thing to use, especially when you start like trying to actually do some creative things with it. So be patient with me, but it is free. So there's a good trade-off there. Okay. Let's see. Not his best live stream like ever. Great, guys. Well, you know, here's the deal. Would you rather me not? Like, cause those are the options right now. You could have me do this or, okay. Some of you guys are like, is that a threat? This is by far my favorite chill stream ever. Thank you, Heidi, for being nice to me. Everyone else, you're dead to me. Just kidding. Is he though? I think he has finally lost it. That is so generous. Sam, that's so generous. You think that now I've lost it. Like, some would say that's been happening for years. What a visual feast. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. Now what? No music. All right, Heidi, you're dead to me too then. I just thought of it. I was like, oh crap. I got to give my kid insulin. My alarm went off and I forgot that I have to stop it. Also, I wasn't planning on being here all night. I was going to do a quick stream, but then my audio apocalypse happened. So, chat convo. Has anyone here gone viral or received their 15 minutes of fame already? I really hope that's not my 15 minutes. Like, if that was my 15 minutes, it's going to be a dark, dark rest of my life. But, and I'm glad for it, says David. We all did when we finally read our comments. That's awesome. My most viewed tweet so far went over 2 million. It was about dating and purity culture. I didn't know that tweet went that big. Dang. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that if you talk about consistently, like you could build a platform, and you've got a lot of thoughts about purity culture. So like, I don't know, like what I've learned about the internet is you got to kind of dial in to some of like the niches and tweet a lot about those things. So if you do that, you might get more, but yeah, not necessarily a niche I'd be wanting to talk about. Purity culture, it gets so dark. Like people think the stuff I talk about gets dark. I don't think that, like that stuff, like the way it twists your mind, it's like, oh, that's a rabbit hole, man. But that's pretty impressive. 2 million, dang. Like mine was like maybe 100,000. That's what it might get to. So that's nuts. 2 million. Oh, guys, I forgot. I did go viral once. I wrote a blog. I wrote a blog about the Avengers. I've done a lot of different like little side hustles in the past, and one of them I was writing for moviepilot.com. And they didn't, it's not like they picked me. It's like anyone could like give them stuff, and they would kind of have an editor go through it, maybe ask you a few questions about it, and then they post it on their website. Well, I had, I think, their most popular article ever. And that was about the Avengers. It was like, I didn't title it this, but the Avengers Age of Ultron, when that came out, they had like that opening scene, right, where Stark has the vision about like the Avengers and them perishing, and that kind of inspires him to do this Ultron thing. And so I had a take on it that was kind of like the post-credit scene nobody knew was a post-credit scene, and they made it into a different title, and it probably helped it because it went super viral, got millions of views, and they sent me some swag for it, but I didn't get paid for it. It was all just like trying to get blogs and seen and grow your social media, and it didn't really work, but that was pretty cool. And that was back in the day. That was like, well, right when Age of Ultron came out. I don't know, when was that? Like 2014, 2015, something like that. I was pastoring at the time, and it was a really cool weekend when that blew up. Because, like, again, that's the kind of thing that's fun. It's fun for at least me, like, of like, whoa, and like getting into the comments, and like there were a lot of people being like, this is such a clickbaity thing. And again, I didn't come up with the title that they came up with. It was something like the secret post credit scene, like, and like they made it like real gotcha kind of stuff. But that was pretty fun. Let's see, what else did you guys do? Do not press the red button. What is going on? My most viewed tweet. Well, okay. I think the most hits I got on my channel was like 1,500. Okay. That's cool. David, I can't believe you're not famous for something yet. David's got to be famous somewhere. Well, he is famous because he's David. Luke, YouTube is a platform I don't mess with, but that seems to be pretty good. I mean, yeah. 1,500 views. Here's the deal. There are companies that get 24,000 views of video. Like companies, like, again, looking at movies and stuff and caring, like that's the majority of the stuff that I've always watched is movie related content. So like those, like Collider and some of those other companies that people know, like they get 24,000 views on a video. And if you do that consistently, that's a business. So, getting 1,500, if you think about it in that way, I mean, like, obviously you don't get enough to like be a business, but like you're getting there, like you're building up towards that. So, that's awesome. And it's hard to do. Believe me, it's really hard to do. Are you considered a rookie after 4 years now? Amateur? Maybe. I don't know. Yep. Some of us thought we were dead and in hell about that. Was this old? Like when would we go back to that? Dean, we are busting our chops, but it really is out of affection. It'll be cool to see how you develop the stream as you learn to use the new tool. I appreciate it. I probably won't ever get proficient. I don't know, man. Like some of this stuff is a lot harder than I thought it was. Like Ecamm, like the way I had been running things, like, yeah, I'd get into like little hiccups, but this is a lot more technical. And like for some people, they'd be like, this isn't a big deal at all. Like, and you're dumb if you don't know how to use it like that. Like some people just can do that stuff. This is all kind of hard for me. But the Ecamm stuff is like drag and drop. Like that's why they can charge for me. Like it's like $30 a month for that. And on top of other stuff you want to do. And it's just like, I don't know. And so I'm going to try to just figure out. Plus, I don't do as much live streaming anymore. And especially if I'm not going to be doing like a legit show where I have like segments. That was my main thing, is figuring out how to make all the segments work. And, if I'm just doing a stream and trying, like, I'll find a cooler way to show the chat than this eventually. But like, if this is all I need, like I could figure that out and get used to this and, save some money. So that's kind of what I'm doing. You must go back and listen to the audio apocalypse. It's something serious. Oh man. Is that like listening to like, who is it? The Beatles? If you listen to a record backwards, it's like Satan talking to you. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure Mike Signorelli told me that. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know that guy. I saw people talking about him and I was like, oh yeah, that guy. Let's see. LOL, Luke, Twitter is the Wild West. It's unruly and dangerous, thrilling and terrifying. Oh, that's a lot. And it kind of is that. And some days I go like, why am I even on here? Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens in my life, like unless I just can't because of circumstances like, work schedule and things like that, like I will always have a hand in YouTube, but I don't know anymore about like other social media. Like looking around, like I used to really love Instagram, and I don't know. I don't find it that fun. I do stuff on there just to keep the, like, I don't know if anyone remembers who I am on that thing, so that, but I will always have a hand on Instagram. I don't know about Twitter. Twitter might be something I could see myself at any point just bailing on Twitter. Cause it's not, one thing I've learned is that it doesn't matter your social media following on other things unless an emergency happens. Like if someone were to come in and cancel my account somehow on YouTube, like I get a bunch of copyright strikes and I'm just done. Well, having people follow me on other social media would be helpful, so that, I could let them know I'm still around and I'll be switching to this platform or something like that. But it doesn't go the other way around. Like as long as like YouTube is good, almost nobody, like some of you guys will see me tweet about it, and so you'll know there's a live stream. And so that's why I do that, but it never goes far. Like it doesn't help. Like, so I don't know, there might be a day when I just like get rid of it, but I do have a lot of friends on there, or at least I used to. Like I will say Twitter has turned into a very different place, at least for me. Like it just, a lot of the people that I used to interact with aren't there anymore. Like you guys are there, and that's been fun to like kind of have another area where we can interact. But like a lot of the friends I made like back in the day, they're gone. I don't even know where they're at. Like, they were internet friends, and now they just fade into the void. And every once in a while they come out and say hi. All right, let's go back up a little bit. Purity culture horror story. Our youth minister's wife brought all the girls together one Sunday night. This is not good. Already, I know this is not good. We sat in a circle. Also, I know it's not good because you said horror story. So we sat in a circle in our South Baptist gray-brown metal folding chairs. Standard. She passed around a box wrapped up like a present. She had us all rip a piece of the wrapping. Oh, I know where this is going. Wrapping paper off. Then she asked us who would want that present now. Jesus, what's the rose? Like, they're not even original. Like, it's rip a piece off. Who would want this? Jerk. Okay. I'm sorry you had to go through that. What's up, bud? Okay, you need to go to bed, bud. Night-night. Yeah, only if you're good, though. All right. Stephanie, I already know where this is going. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I ain't even got to finish it, do I? Nope. We all know. Because they use that over and over again. As a rose, it's a gift. It's, all these precious little items. And then who would want that? It's so lame. Who's stoked that underdog theology is coming back on Mondays? Thanks, Pam. Way to be nice. God wants the present. Yeah, that's right. That was the lesson. Our youth pastor did the same thing, but with a jar of pebbles. Everyone takes a pebble, and all that's left is all you have for your spouse. What a shallow view of forgiveness, right? Like, even if you think about it, just like you take even like the personalities out of it and like emotions out of it, what a shallow view of like the forgiveness that we find in Christ. Like for any of our past failures to be like, once it's gone, once you've done this, like you could be a murderer, like you could do all these other things. But when it comes to sexuality, if you've stumbled in any way, and Lord forbid, if you ever were to get pregnant before getting married, it's all just ruined, like that's so jacked up. What a fundy take that most churches have. I now have a reason for living on Monday, says Dylan, which, wow. Pam, I would like for you to check in with Dylan. Like, I know you guys went to the concert last night, and I'm very excited for your anniversary, but see what else is going on Mondays. Like what is happening on Mondays? That's where Dylan's at. But, oh man, Stephanie, this is the worst. Yeah, of course that was their lesson. It just isn't God's lesson. That's right. Well, Jesse Duplantis, oh no, put a ribbon around himself and preached a sermon about how he was Jesus' gift to the Father. Oh my goodness, this is the corniest crap in the world. Like I make my jokes. I do the Ken Ham stuff. Ken Ham? But it's just like, this is just straight up corny. Like, oh my goodness, that guy. Some people, I just don't understand how they ever got famous, because they have no charisma. Like, they have no personality. They just do stereotypes and, like, I don't know. Like, I guess there's a reason why those those joke books are popular, or at least have ever been made. Because, like, I if anyone were ever to actually read a joke book to me, I would roll my eyes harder than anything you ever seen in your life. Like, just like, what are you doing? This is so stupid. Leave me alone, you creep. Like, immediately. And these guys, like, they get all of, like, their sermon illustrations from, like, that kind of stream, that stream of thinking. And it's just like, it's so ridiculous and corny and dumb, and just makes Christians look dumb. And it's like, really, Jesse Duplantis? That's the best we got? Or Johnny Hunt? Like, especially now? Like, that's the best we got? Why are these guys famous? I don't understand it. Because they really don't have talent. Like, even some of these guys who are like, oh, he's a great preacher. I have so many of these guys who have gone, like, super viral, and then, like, for losing stuff. Like Carl Lentz. Guys, he is not a good communicator. Like, people go like, he's a great communicator. So good. He's such a good communicator, though. Got to give it to him. He's a good communicator. No, he isn't. Communication is actually a way of transferring information. All he's doing is storytelling. Storytelling is not just, like, that's not all communication is for. Like, and given the format, of preaching is not storytelling. All right. And even I would even fight with anyone who is like, he's a good storyteller. No, he's not. He's super boring to me. But what do I know? Expository preaching is my jam. So. All right. Did you guys get the sermon object lesson about the pink and blue paper, and then you rip it apart and some blue is stuck on the pink, etc.? Oh my goodness. Oh no. Guys, I can't handle this. Twitter is where people are real, and I love seeing people strip off the mask and tell us what they are when they think it will cost them nothing. Oh, that's true. Very true. And also, like, it's a great way to find out what some of, like, these megachurch pastors, because again, that's the kind of stuff that I'm, like, looking at and whatnot. Like, it's a great way to know who they really are too. Like, just the average person. But, like, those kind of people, like, you won't ever run into them at Starbucks. Like, the one time that you'll see people like that is at, like, a conference, and everyone knows that they're faking it at a conference, right? Like, they're all just trying to be nice and do the things, and maybe not go stand by the books, because then they'll get seen, and they want to be in the green room, and all that kind of stuff. But, like, now we know what John Piper thinks about things, not from his sermons, because he won't say it in a sermon, but he'll say it on Twitter. Like, I like that kind of stuff, because I mean, like, yes, we get to know some of the good things, but we get to know some of the bad things too. And know, like, should we trust the preaching that they have in the pulpit? Like, some people, like, I feel like a lot of those people who are now following Mark Driscoll, if they were to go onto his Twitter, they would be like, what? Because he goes up on, like, the stage and he says things differently. And then he goes onto Twitter and says whatever he wants. And like, sometimes those things leak into his sermons. But I feel like a lot of people would probably be benefited to go onto Twitter and actually know what the guy thinks about a lot of these things. Pam, those are soul ties. Oh my goodness. You can never have that piece of you back. That's how it works. Which, I mean, that's not very different than generational curses, but that's a thing. Yeah. Soul tie. Oh my goodness, what a weird world fundamentalism is. Pam, give Dylan some pebbles. Okay, let's keep it PG in the chat. Holy crap. All right. Yes, all Southern Baptist girls are warned about the Oklahoma Baptist home for unwed mothers. It was like a horror tale told to us. After what you all went through growing up in Fundyville, kind of glad I missed it, but Mormons have their own trauma-inducing moral stories. Yeah. Wendy probably has way more stories about like some of this kind of stuff. And like, let's be clear, Mormons stole a lot of it. Like, what was I watching? Guys, like there are so many social media influencers who are Mormons. Like this conspiracy that they have to try to normalize themselves. And so they do like the social media stuff to try to normalize being a Mormon, and they like hop on trends. And there are people who are within the Mormon church, if you want to call it that, but they're within the organization who are pushing this. And they want all of their young, pretty women to become Instagram stars, you know, like they want all of their cool young guys to go start a YouTube channel. Mark Rober, Mormon. Remember the Shaytards? Mormons. Like so many of these Instagram people and even YouTubers, like a lot of these famous ones are Mormons, and they're there to try to normalize their faith and try to be like, we're just like everyone else, you know, we just care about, conservative ideas, and we're just like the evangelicals and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, what? But they also stole a lot of their like practices as far as like their clothing and different things. They stole from Christians. Like they took basically everything from Christians, and then they just mixed it with like, you know, these weirdo golden tablets that Joseph Smith found in a cave, you know, found. One of my favorite things, some people will be so mad that I brought it up. South Park. All right. I watched a lot of South Park when I was little. And one of my favorite episodes was them telling the story of Joseph Smith. And like every time they bring up Joseph Smith, they would have music. And it's just that last name sounds like a bad word. What? Oh, Shadart. Yeah, like that was their YouTube name. But yeah, with South Park, whenever they have Joseph Smith pop up and they'd be talking about him, they would just have dumb, 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 dumb. And I thought that was like the funniest thing in the world. Just and Joseph Smith found the tablets. Dumb, 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 dumb. Oh, what a roast. But man, I watched a lot of South Park when I was little. Okay. Respect my authority. Anyways, that got too real. Some people are going to be like, he's still a Christian. Yes, those orders came out of Salt Lake. It's a real deal. That lady that just got convicted of child abuse, LDS. It's the Mormon view of theonomy. Yep. The last name sounds like a bad word. Yeah, it kind of does. I like now I kind of wonder. Like I didn't even watch them. I just remember them. And I remember being like, it's weird that this family vlogs together, and then like being kind of interested in like the idea of it. Like I don't know them. I think they split up. I remember seeing something about that. Maybe one of them left the faith. I don't know. At our last church, one of the elders kind of misspoke and said, your children should see you touch your spouse in unique ways. What? And Aaron and I still are still not recovered. We are just teens in adult bodies. How could you not be? Okay. Everyone else was thinking it. Heidi, don't even mistake it. You know that those guys who didn't crack a smile at all, as soon as they got in the car, they were like, did you hear what they said? And pastor said, you know, like that's what they're doing. Like, holy crap. One of my favorite things with Fundyville is sometimes like they don't even get like they would never understand why you would take it that way, right? Like they're just like, what? What? I can't believe that. One of my favorite things is I was actually in Pam's neck of the woods, a little bit further north. All right. I was in Edmonton at a fundamentalist church. That's how I'll put it. And we were there for a little while. And so we were listening, like weren't excited about the church we were attending, but it's just part of the whole thing. So we were just there on a Sunday night, I think, and they had the worship pastor preaching. And he got up and his sermon was about how everyone knows paybacks are. And he said it. He didn't even say it like the R. He said paybacks. And like, we're like, what? Like he's talking about the phrase paybacks. And then he says, paybacks are terrible. Like, what? No one says that. Like, that's not a phrase. And in my head, like, paybacks a what? Like, and everyone else in the congregation was just kind of like, but the dude, like, he was just so oblivious to it. Like, he probably grew up in in another fundamentalist church. He was from the States, and he was Southern. So like in a Southern fundamentalist church, and he probably just like that. It probably was the phrase for him, but he was up there on the stage being like, I don't know how many times he said paybacks are terrible. But it's just like every time I'm just like, where am I? Like, it's not to be like, oh, you're so carnal. It's like, no, you're just oblivious to the fact that we exist in this world and just haven't talked to people because nobody says that. Yeah, but he was, he had a degree in sacred music. So it's a weird world. But yeah. I would laugh my head off if one of the elders got up and said that. And oh my goodness. They were in the ground, right? He had to dig them up, I think. Someone did the math on how much those things would weigh, and they are far too heavy to get out of the ground. Because they didn't exist. Like, even in some of their own promotional stuff. Like back in the day being like I'm thinking about like promotional stuff. People were a lot more honest in the 80s when they were promoting things than they are now. And it's just kind of crazy. But they were talking about how Joseph Smith was known for lying. And that's like a cartoon promo I think it still exists on YouTube. But like someone had uploaded, it was one of their promo tapes from the 80s, and like it's just like an informational thing about Joseph Smith, and like they're talking about it, and they even reference that in their own stuff about how he was known to tell tall tales, is how they put it. And then God used him anyway, kind of deal. And it's just like, oh my goodness, like this guy, like he just lies all the time. And then he just comes out and he's like, guys, I don't know if you knew this, but I am super important. But it worked. You got him what he wanted, or at least for a time. Also, like, interesting rabbit hole to go down of like him and Brigham Young and like their like fight for control over the Mormon church. Very interesting stuff. Let's see. And I did. Yeah. Where did it go? I was being sarcastic. I get you. I have the heebie-jeebies now, Heidi. Didn't Driscoll say some pretty spicy things from the pulpit? Yeah, musicians don't know how to talk to real people. We spent way too much time in a room alone with our instrument. Our pastor accidentally said fart instead of heart once, and I was shocked that no one laughed. I was dying inside. How do you not? My father-in-law did that. Like one of those classic moments of like saying the wrong thing during a prayer, because he was a pastor, And he has the story that the kids love to tell. Like my sister and brothers-in-law, they love to talk about it. But he owned it. He owned up to it, and he kept on rolling with it. He didn't like take himself too seriously. He laughed about it. At my Christian school, the pastor would often speak in chapel and say, "God has a beautiful butt." What? And we would have to sit there and not crack a smile. It was torture. What? God has a beautiful butt. Where is he even going with that? Like, what is... Oh, man. I was raised Mormon, got saved at 17, lukewarm no more says. Okay. My best friend in high school is LDS. She took me to see the lady missionaries a few times. They told me to take it and read. I did and came back and said, "I think the book is wicked." Good for you. Yeah, right? Like, what is this going on? Like, God has a beautiful butt. But God, is that what you're... I don't know. Late to the live stream, going to start back at the beginning. Don't do it, Mule Rider! Somebody stop him! Get him! He's gonna get there and I'll be like, what is going on? Audio apocalypse. Like I said, this is my favorite chill stream ever. It's like the therefores and buts in the epistles. What? I don't understand that. I don't get it. I wish I did. I'm not smart enough to understand this stuff. All the but God in scripture. Is that what it means? Cause that's true. Like, there are so many moments in scripture where it's just like, but God did this. And like, he intervenes and steps into the moment, or like, we were dead in our trespasses, but God, like that stuff. Okay. So she's saying yes to Sam. But that is a really weird way to put it. Yo, I thought I had some wild stories growing up. Black Pentecostal churches, the white Fundy churches were on a whole nother level of weird. Oh man, I don't know if I have that many weird ones. Like, see, I never know. Like, there were certain aspects of my upbringing that were super fundamentalist. And then there's other aspects that, like, we just didn't do that. Like, my family was more fundamentalist than the church that we attended growing up. But the church that I grew up attending also had a lot of fundamentalist stuff in it. But again, I've talked about like that weird Venn diagram of like Reformed and fundamentalists. It's like right in there. It's just basically John MacArthur. And I'm finding out that that's not as rare as I thought it was back in the day. But yeah, let me make sure my son's numbers are good, and they are fantastic. But yeah, that's it's a weird world. I don't remember a lot of stories. There were a lot of, well, I won't get into it. Like, it gets dark. But there was a lot of family stuff. Like, the things that I talk about, people would be surprised at just how much practical knowledge I have about a lot of the things that we discuss, especially when it comes to fundamentalists and how they view a lot of these things and treat things and question people about things. Yeah, but fun stuff, like funny things, not really. We didn't even have a youth group for the majority of my time at our church. Like, we got one when I was like 16, and by that time I was already like sneaking stuff, Like, this is the thing. The way that I survived fundamentalist upbringing is, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's godly, but it's just what happened. I just snuck everything, Like, I had a pretty good head on my shoulders. I was like sneaking like Hoobastank and Blink 182, Like, that's what I was doing. It wasn't drugs, wasn't alcohol. A couple times going to parties, but it was just like, that's what I was doing. I was just like sneaking music. And so, like, you listen, like, I was allowed to like listen to like Reliant K and some stuff, but every once in a while my dad would be like, oh, know about this, and church kind of supported that. Not really. I don't know. it's all kind of a blur about that kind of stuff. But yeah, for me, like it's hard because I never took any of that stuff to heart. I don't know. Like I've always been a pretty independent thinker. And so like I would listen to people talk about how this is worldly, that's worldly, and then I would just make up my own mind about it and do what I wanted. And again, I'm not saying that's like the right thing to do because a lot of it was like disobedient to parents and stuff about, things maybe I didn't need to be disobedient about. But yeah, we didn't, I don't know. There was a lot well, okay. You want to hear a story? This is the thing that made me go like, what is going on? Yeah. Mule Rider came back. He came back. What on earth was that? We had some technical problems, Mule Rider. We tried to warn you before you headed back there. I was just like, no, don't go. Oh, that's hilarious. But, my story. So I went to a really conservative school and, teachers, how to say this? Some people watch my stuff and this will be the one thing that they watch and they'll be like, oh, he hated us. Like that's not what I mean. So if you were one of those people, I'm not mad about it, but it was a weird experience. All right. So I had teachers and some of them were really hardcore about things that they didn't need to be hardcore about and looking for things when they didn't need to be looking for things. Everything was a heart issue, and the Christian school was a part of my church, as most often they are. And so there was one time I got in big trouble. I was kicked out of the prayer team. And that's how you know things are really bad, when you get kicked out of prayer group. Because I was the prayer group leader for my high school, which is a weird sentence to say. And I got kicked out of prayer group because of a comic that I made. So we had switched from ACE to Switched On Schoolhouse, which is also homeschool material. Not a great education, by the way. But they have pictures, and their pictures are all like stock photos. And me and my buddy, we had a lot of fun with those stock photos, just making dumb little, like we should be working on our schoolwork, but we're in little cubicles being told if we talk at all, we'll be in huge trouble. And we're sitting there for 4 hours at a time. It was work, honestly, torture. But like that style of schooling where you're just like sitting in one spot for like literally, like you would have, like you start at like 7:15 or something like that, like 8:15, I don't know, 9:15, I don't even know. But you'd be there until lunch, and then you come back after lunch and you're just there in your cubicle by yourself. And maybe sometimes you would talk to a teacher because you needed help with something. Like that's where it was. And so not a great way to do education. But anyways, me and my buddy, we would have fun making little comics out of their stock photos. And I made one. I still don't understand how this happened. But I made one where like the secretary in the scene, it was like a business like office, and the secretary just looked weird. Like she just looked like a weird lady. And I had a little bit of fun with that. Like maybe she's just dumb. And so I'm realizing I think the chat is broken. Let me do this, restart capture. I think that'll work. So that's interesting. It took a while, but it did do the same thing as last stream. Anyways, so I basically I'd take these little pictures and put them all together and redo the words, and so I had something to the effect where she's just being dumb and she doesn't even know what TGIF means. That was one of the things I remember. So she didn't know what TGIF meant. And so the business guy says like, yeah, she's not the best, but she's all I could afford. Okay. Now, my mind, it's a dumb joke. Like just about her being a bad secretary. My teacher took me to the back room immediately because she saw me and my buddy giggling and probably not working. And so she came over, like they would have like weird ways of like getting behind you. And like, cause I was in the back row. I don't know how she even saw it. But she saw it and was like, I can't believe you would do this. Why would you make a joke about prostitution? What? I'm definitely going to be taking the stream down because I know like some of these people watch stuff. But yeah, she was like, this is a joke about prostitution. And I was like, I don't understand how you could even get there. What do you even mean by that? Like at the time, like I was like 15, 16. So I probably should have known like what that's about. But again, fundy world. So I'm like pretty sheltered about certain things. And like, I didn't understand at all. And I remember I looked at her and I said, I don't understand that joke. And I don't see how you could even get there in your mind unless your mind was already there. So got kicked out of the prayer group, got some detentions because I told my teacher that she was like, thinking about that kind of stuff. Oh my goodness. I forgot about that until like just now. But it's just, I don't like, again, like, I'm not saying I'm a creative genius, like a comedic genius. Like it was a dumb joke, but it's just like, I still like to, like, I get she's all I can afford. Like that part, I get like that, but it's in a business world. Like it's in an office. I'm still like baffled by it. But she said she was adamant that this is some like one of those kinds of jokes. And how dare I? And you must be sick and twisted. And like she was like getting into the weeds about it, raking me over the coals. And so yeah, I just like was like, I don't know how you could get there unless your mind was already there. And then I got in huge trouble. Would never get kicked out because, you know, whatever, they need students. Like they were always desperate for students. But yeah, I got I think I even I was out of some basketball games, which was like the really hard part because I love basketball. It was like my escape. And yeah. But no, I mean, I was not a class clown. I wasn't popular enough for that. Like basically me and my best friend Joel just had a great time. Like we just kind of zoned out of a lot of that stuff. And, you know, he's like, I just reconnected with him. It's been a couple years since we talked. And that was pretty fun. But you know, he was like, just like, kind of like my brother, and we just kind of like grew up together. And so like, we would just hang out and talk and always sit together and do stuff and be on the basketball team together. And like, yeah. So it, like, I wasn't like super popular. It was a very small school, weird dynamics at play. You know, some people went to the church, some people didn't. And that was definitely something that got in the way of like hanging out and being friends. Super weird. Again, some of that stuff of like, we'd be welcoming to everyone. And then you're not. It's kind of like that kind of stuff. But yeah, but I was just like, I still don't know how you get there. All right, let's see. Heidi is going, wow. Yeah, California schools, Carol's saying they were not great. And she says that I was a class clown. No, but I thought I was, you know, no one else was laughing, but I was, and Joel was. So I think we're all right. So my little brother peed himself what? At his cubicle desk because no one would come answer the little flag. Oh my goodness. Oh, those stupid little flags. You were supposed to put up, we got demerits for turning in our seats. It was a whole thing. Dude, I drew comic book characters and like had them in my, like, cause it's a little cubicle with a cork backboard thing. And, you know, you could put your goals for the day, for the week up there. And, you know, if you had A, B, or C privilege, you could put it up there. You know, like that kind of stuff. And, Yeah. I remember I put up some characters from comics that I had drawn and just cut out and put them up there. And I got cause slips for each one of them. Because, that was a waste of my time. Even though she never saw me do it, I could have done it during recess for all she knew. But it was a weird world. Fundy schools, ACE schools specifically. Weird environment, man. Such a weird environment. Thanks, Carol. She would have gotten a kick out of me. Appreciate it. Dylan says, my best friend in high school was named Joel. We were a comedic duo. Sounds very similar. Like, honestly, I don't know what I would have done in that world if I didn't have that guy. Cause it was very, very difficult environment. I'll just put it that way. Like home life, school life, church life. It was very much ingrained, not necessarily in every theological point of fundamentalism, but the ethos, the feel of it, the rules, very much that. Wendy says, we played with Ouija boards at the Mormon church when the teacher left us alone after our youth group lesson. Oh my goodness. Everyone, you got to retreat from the chat because Wendy is a witch up in her. No, I'm just kidding, Wendy. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't mess around with that stuff. Mostly because I'm a scaredy cat. Not even because I think there's anything to it. But I just I get creeped out. Oh my goodness, they try to levitate each other. Whoa. Let me know if any of that actually worked out. It's good to see you. We need you, Dean. I thank you, Carol. That's very nice of you to say. Everyone knows it, Wendy. It wasn't Grace Community Church. What? I'm not sure. I asked for prayer. The pastor got me aside and said I violated scripture. What? Carol, you've had it rough. I'm sorry you've had it so rough, man. Aaron says, dude, the flags. How many places did that? Who heard that and thought it was a good idea? I don't know. Like the little flags were so weird, little holes in the top. You had for us, we had a state flag for getting one of the teachers and an American flag for this and Christian flag for that. Just so weird. Yeah. Well, Carol, I'm sorry you have it rough. That's a bummer. Hopefully you can hang out here, get a little bit of joy as we kind of just commiserate together. When the audio apocalypse isn't happening. All right, we're winding down. So if you got any questions, throw them in. Got maybe 2 minutes. I went to an ACE school, the flags, the privileges. Let me tell you about the detention. Stand in the corner with arms up in the air for 1 hour. It was what? That is called child abuse. What is up with fundies and their weird ways of torturing kids? I knew this couple very well who was in the fundy world, and they would make their kids do jumping jacks as punishment. Jumping jacks, because they kind of mouthed off to them a little bit, and by mouthed off, they asked them why, it's not even real rebellion, but they asked why. And so now you got to do jumping jacks. It was so awkward. I was sitting at the dinner table with them, and this kid didn't want to have their I don't know, some meal, and this person was not a good cook. So it was just no, I wouldn't want to eat that. I didn't eat that. I was there and I didn't eat that, but they were complaining. And so, they made this girl do jumping jacks, and I'm sitting there, I'm this was back in the day. So I was oh, I don't know, probably 23, 23, sitting there, did not know what to do. I was just and she they were going off about how it was sometimes you got to be creative, sometimes spanks won't, work all the way. And so you got to do, slightly different punishments. And I'm what the heck back. Like, I remember telling Heather after, like, we will never do that to our kids. What? Jumping jacks. Yeah, putting your hands up in the air for an hour. What the heck? I wish that some of like these like school, legislators would come in and just like take a little, view of how they do things and like what punishments are. Cause then it would be like, yeah. I have 1 foot in Mormonism, 1 foot in witchcraft. Oh, I'm glad we could give you some joy, Carol. Fundy's the only time they raise their hands to the Lord. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's pretty funny. In the Baptist school, I sat and put my feet up, and the parent of the school hit me. Oh my goodness, that's just full on abuse. Like sometimes, just like how do people get away with some of this stuff? Like it was a different time, I get it, but like it's just insane. Tax collector, hey underdogs, please pray for my mom. She's in the hospital for lymphadenitis. Been there since yesterday. Been a stressful 6 weeks for us. We will definitely be praying for you, tax collector. Health stuff is always the worst, but I will just say there's a special place in my heart for people when their mom is sick. Like having lost my mom, I don't know, like I just get real emotional about it. So I've been praying for you, dude, and we'll keep praying because that is a difficult situation to be in, and yeah, it's real rough. So we're praying for you, man. We're with you. How's your boys, Dean? They're doing pretty good. They should be asleep, but they're not. I could hear them whispering upstairs. We're letting them, some of these last Fridays of summer, we're letting them like camp out in the living room. And so they could listen to music and they could watch a movie before bed. And so they're up there doing that. Like Pixar scores are playing. The weather is okay. It's a little smoky and I didn't really want to be outside. So I was like, forget this. It was very hot and had earthquakes, shake and bake. It got cool. Yeah, it's okay, Carol. It's been a couple years now, it's just any time. Yeah. I just think about that a lot. But yeah, we'll definitely keep praying, tax collector. All right. That's the stream tonight. I'm so sorry about the audio issues, but you guys had fun with it, I think. I will watch for the quality of the stream, try to improve some things. And, I'll probably try to get, I don't know. I would like to do like 2 chill streams a week until we get like the show back. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Like when am I coming back for Mondays? Let me see. Let me get the calendar up. Oh, you guys can see the calendar. Let me move this over here. Sensitive information. There's nothing on it. I'm not busy. Yeah, probably. I'm not sure. It'll either be the 9th or the 16th. I'm sorry if that's too long. But like we have like preschool for our youngest, and I think like their big first day is on the 9th. So we might have to do that. And then the 2nd is Labor Day. So probably won't do it then because my wife has that off and we are going to have like a great time. I don't know. We'll do something. But yeah. So, but I will be doing like some more chill streams because I kind of want to dial this thing in before I'm like, Underdog Theology is back, and I know it's not that different. I do know that like the same people are going to show up, but, or at least some of them. I know that there are people who see chill stream and they automatically go, I'm not watching that. So I know that happens. And that's kind of why I'm doing it that way. I want to kind of do some of these chill streams, kind of ease my way back into it and figure out some of this stuff because I like, honestly, like I used this for a little bit and I have forgotten like everything about how to use it and what needs to happen in order to make things function. So I got some work to do on that. But yeah, we'll be back, probably around like Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll probably do some kind of stream and then, probably another Friday, Saturday, kind of another evening stream. And we'll kind of do that until we're like actually back. So that's what's going on. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will see you guys on the flippity floppity. Bye.